Good morning YouTube, my name is Yusuf and you are watching my news channel. Today I will be making a short weather video and talk about a planetary alignment which will happen on my birthday, the 25th of May. But let's start with a little bit of weather. So, I'm going to show you the polar vortex which is located above the Hudson Sea. And this is very unusual because typically you would see it over the Arctic, of course, and I will prove this by going to the southern hemisphere. This is the polar vortex at the 10 millibar of the southern hemisphere, and it is located, as you can see, where it is supposed to be, right on top of the southern pole, above Antarctica. So you would expect the northern counterpart to be at the exact same position, and that's how it is supposed to be, but it is not. It is completely off by at least 1,000 kilometers. And is located above the Hudson Sea. This will have an impact, but I don't know if it will be a major one or a small impact, because now the polar vortex, and that's a good thing, is weak. As we enter, as we come closer to the summer, it will get weaker. If this happened in the winter, this would be apocalyptic, because then the polar vortex is much stronger and it affects the weather at the surface much quicker and in a much bigger fashion. This time we are actually lucky, as the polar vortex strolls a little bit everywhere, because remember, when winter finished, it went over Siberia. I made a video about this, I believe it was in January, and also in February it was located mainly over Siberia over here. Then it went back to the Arctic, and I thought this time it will stay in the Arctic, but much to my surprise, it actually still is moving away from the Arctic, and this is not normal, because the polar vortex is really supposed to be over the coldest part in the Arctic. So this will have, of course, weather effects, extreme temperature swings, strange weather patterns. We will see what this will bring in summer, because there's usually a delay between when this happens and the actual weather at the surface. I think it's a few weeks. But you can definitely expect some strange weather patterns, and I will follow this up. If we look at the geopotential height anomaly, there is good news. We are entering a positive phase, and I will show you why this is good news. So if we look at the different phases, a positive phase means a little bit of normalized weather. The cold is then held back in the Arctic, and when you have a positive phase in spring or summer, this means warm weather, of course, because that cold is going to be compressed even further over the Arctic. I don't know, however, if the polar vortex over the Hudson Sea, if it will affect the positive phase, and it is actually only, it's only beginning to be positive. Let me show you. It's not really a big positive phase, but it's always better than a negative phase. So we will have to see in the coming weeks if this will develop into a strong positive phase or not. I certainly hope so, because this will bring us warm weather. And speaking of warm weather, I did see a change in trend. So the cold weather over Europe is going to disappear in the coming days, but also in the US, as you can see, and strangely enough, moving to the Hudson Sea, as you can see, going all the way. So whether or not the polar vortex is already responsible for this, I don't know. Maybe, who knows. But the good news is warm weather is coming, and I think we can all welcome this, because in April the weather has been, especially in Europe, and I believe in some parts of the US too, was extremely cold. We had some very strong negative anomalies, so it was a brutal beginning of spring here in Europe. But as you can see, things will change in the coming days. By next week we will have something that will resemble a decent spring season. at least in some parts of Europe and the US. So let's go and talk to that major planetary alignment and the supermoon. First of all, I will say there will be a supermoon on May the 26th, and I do believe this is kind of important because at the same time, around the 25th, when it will be my birthday, we will have 3 alignments. One of which is a decent alignment. I think this is Saturn, Mars, yes, and Venus. Then we have Neptune and Jupiter, and finally Earth and Mercury will align. In itself, these are not big alignments, but what is important, all the planets are concentrated in a small region, and all the alignments sort of will be exerting their gravitational pull in the same region on the Sun, more or less, especially these 2 alignments. A little bit less this one because it is at the opposite side, but still, if we do have sunspots in this region, there could be fireworks, some decent fireworks, lots of solar flares, CMEs, etc., maybe filament eruptions. And if you have been following space weather in general, then you know we already had, I believe, 2 X flares, a couple of M flares. So already the sun is pretty active. And who knows, maybe on the 25th, when these alignments will happen, we could see an increase in solar activity, which is already, if you look by the normal standards, pretty high. So we will see in a couple of weeks whether or not this will produce increased solar weather. And I believe personally that we will see increased activity. Let's hope so. Okay, this is almost the end of the video. I will just, read a little bit about that supermoon for those interested. So May 26th, no, yes, actually we have 2 things I'm seeing here. Yes, there is a supermoon and also a total lunar eclipse. We all know what the supermoon is. Let's just read the total lunar eclipse. The total lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes completely through Earth's dark shadow or umbra. During this type of eclipse, the moon will gradually get darker and then take on a rusty or blood red color. There you have it. The eclipse will be visible throughout the Pacific Ocean and parts of Eastern Asia, Japan, Australia, Western North America. There you have it. So if you live in those regions, you will see that total lunar eclipse. So there you have it. We have planetary alignments, 25th, and we have 2 things, a supermoon and at the same time a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse for the 26th of May. Okay, let's cite, oh yes, by the way, if you haven't done already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. This way you will not miss any future content. Let's cite a philosophical quote before I end this video. And I do believe I was almost at number 70, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I think it's 68. All confidence is dangerous unless it is complete. There are a few circumstances in which it is not better either to hide all or to tell all. And I'm not sure whether I already told this or not, so let's switch to the other one. It is well that there is no one without a fault, for he would not have a friend in the world. He would seem to belong to a different species. So yeah, this simply tells there is no such thing as a perfect person in the world, and if there was, he would really look, as it is described here, as a total other species, because we are all imperfect in this world. So there you have it. Again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you like this video. And don't forget the 25th of May, very important date. We have 2 things, planetary alignments and a supermoon, which will be eclipsed on the 26th. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope we will see each other next time. Thanks. Bye bye, everyone. How do I end this video? Okay, this is kind of embarrassing.